Hola, bon dia, amigos. Carl Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal live stream and podcast. How are you today? Let's go find out, shall we? We're getting closer to Christmas, and I can truly and honestly say it is beginning to feel a lot like Christmas after the Christmas party last night. Who was there? Did you enjoy yourselves? My goodness, we certainly scared the horses, didn't we, with our singing, but I think we had a great time. It's safe to say an amazing performance. Thank you, Philomena. It's in effect a Philomena Friday, as the vibes from last Friday night still perpetuate in the studio here this morning. She led us in the singing of a Portuguese song, a Christmas song, to the tune of Jingle Bells. I'm hearing funny things in my ears. I don't nurse. I don't need my medication, but I need you to let me know if we've still got that funny. Do you remember that sound we used to have a few weeks back? Is it back in the studio? I'm hearing some funny things here. Perhaps you could be executive producers for me. We've had a bit of a technical struggle this morning, trying to load up a massive video showing you how to make a tequila sunrise, a cocktail. Well, what's he called? A mixologist Ben Austin has very kindly put together a video at the amazing Austin Brothers Studios, to the founders of which he is related. And I'm struggling to share that with you today, but don't worry, it's coming. I have already learned that, actually, see if you know this, which old rocker is connected with the popularization of the tequila sunrise. Okay, let us know in the comments which old rocker was. It's like taking me back to the quiz last night. Excellent quiz, Mr. Jerry Lawler. But this morning's question for you is, which old rocker, which dinosaur of the music scene is responsible for the popularization of the tequila sunrise? Allegedly. So you're back to Philomena. Philomena, great job last night. Not an easy thing to conduct people, to teach people to sing a Portuguese song on a Zoom call, but we did it, and I have the documentary evidence, not to hand this morning, but if you're really naughty, I will play that one of these mornings. And it's a bit like popping in to see Santa, isn't it? Have you been naughty or nice? I've been naughty, I'm sorry. Okay, you've got to listen to that lot singing. But it was a great evening. Swara, partner of DJ Bass Orbit, was just said, Bass Orbit said to us, "Oh, fly back. The sound is back. The flies and the sound are back." DJ Bass Orbit suddenly said on the Zoom call last night, Swara's been rehearsing a song in a fado style, Christmas song in a fado style, and she sang for us. It was beautiful. Silent Night, her own version of it, accompanied by herself on the piano. It was quite beautiful and unexpected moment. We premiered our 2 videos yesterday evening as well. Videos for the Warren Sharm song, the GMP Christmas. So I'll play those again for you this morning with your pictures, everybody. Keep them coming, because there's definitely scope for a 3rd video this Christmas. We are doing our best to light up Christmas, and I think it's going fairly well from my point of view. What do you think? Sorry to have missed the party, says James. I was with clients. That 8-hour time difference from California makes for some late work nights. Not complaining. I love my work. Well, sure. And I will share edited highlights of what we were up to last night. Thank you, Gary Orgles, as well, for your unexpected item in the bagging area, so to speak, as well last night. But it was great. And yeah, great quiz, great singing, beautiful performance from Swara, and the amazing Warren Sharm's Christmas song, which we were delighted to premiere last night, which you'll get to hear this morning as well. This morning's delight for you, if you did overdo it last night, if you carried on drinking after the party that we had on Zoom last night, which is so often the way these days, isn't it? And you've got a bit of a sore head, or you've already had, like the old rocker in question, a couple of tequila sunrises this morning, fear not, we will not be judging you for that. Our aim with Coach Turner after 9 o'clock on this Feel Good Friday is to show you how to grow old disgracefully. And this is aimed at people. You know, if you're a regular, you'll know that Coach Ian Turner joins us. He's coached people of all ages, and he's moving into this. What do we call this? Our niche now, to help us grow old disgracefully, to be Graywatch instead of Baywatch, and show us how to take care of ourselves in retirement, so that you can enjoy the best of life in all aspects and take good care of yourself. Look, he's already in the chat. Bon dia todos. Looking forward to chatting shortly with Carl. Don't call me that. Send in your growing old disgracefully questions, such as how much wine can I get away with? There you go. How many tequila sunrises am I allowed to drink? Imagine a place called Tequila in the early morning. I'm actually not a big fan. Maybe I just don't know the genre well enough, but I'm open to being corrupted in that department come this summer. We will look at the weather. We might look at the news, keeping me chatting for the last 2 days. You've saved us from looking at the news. I think we should check in from time to time to have a look at what's going on in the man-made world, as I refer to it. We should know, shouldn't we, what's happening on the horizon whilst we live in the friendly bosom of the Good Morning Portugal community, nestling in the valleys far away from the craziness of civilization. Thunder Ducks here, bon dia, alegria, gumpas, gumpadores this morning. I've got an early morning appointment. Oh, so he just popped this in the comments. Look, that comment is timed at 6:54, would you believe? Early morning appointment. At the hemorrhoid clinic, I suspect. I've got an early morning appointment, but should be back before the end of the show. Too much information. Jim White, bon dia todos. Oh, yes, Jim. It's really becoming a reality. It's not only beginning to look a lot like Christmas, it's beginning to look a lot like when the Whites arrive here in Portugal. So looking forward to meeting you in person. Fantastic. All the best to you. Bon voyage to you and to Mandy. Deagle's here as well. Working last night. Was unable to join us for the party. But look, bon dia, Carl. If anyone tries claiming their 50 minutes last night singing Jingle Bells, I'm telling Philomena. No one likes a grass Deagle, but you'd be quite right to do that. Yeah, come on. No firing the bullet and then drawing the target around it. Video evidence of it online, I believe. Oh, excellent. Well said. Eusebio's here. Morning, Prof. Bon dia, meus amigos. De corpo saudável. So that's my health. Is that my healthy body friends? Hola, bon dia. Says Rebel Mama. Completely forgot the party last night. Lol. Yes, it happens, doesn't it? And James waving to Jim. From James to Jim and from Jim to James there this morning. Good morning. I hope the party was fun for all. I was too tired to attend, darling. People forgetting, people too tired. Good job I wasn't too tired and forgot, isn't it? Today in Portuguese History 1. That's hilarious. That is our community. And you are so forgiven and so loved. 1961. That was meant to be a little bit patronizing in a good way. 1961, Operation VJ. Oh, I think I should have a serious voice here. VJ commenced by the Indian forces. Whoa. It involved air, sea, and land strikes for over 36 hours and was a decisive victory, ending 451 years of rule by Portugal. Consider that. It's nearly as long as the Tory party were in Shropshire, isn't it? So 36 hours, the Indian forces pushing back against the Portuguese who had ruled there for 451 years. And thankfully, it's far behind us, isn't it? And only the Portuguese, only the best of the Portuguese influence is there without occupation anymore. I suppose occupied by hippies, I suppose now, isn't it? A disgust. Sorry to have missed the party. I was with clients, says James, and we read that before, but you're excused as well. Edited highlights available, and the premiere. Well, the 2 video premieres of the song available this morning, so no worries there, everybody. And do you know what? Do you want me to do the quiz next week between now and Christmas? That could be fun, couldn't it? And then you'll have missed very little, basically, except the spontaneous vibe last night. And I think, well, I'll ask Base Orbit and Swara if we're able to. Well, Swara, really, it was Swara's work. Ask her if she's happy for us to segment that for you as well. And let's see who else is here this morning. Mandy's here as well. Bon dia, everyone. Love your picture there, Mandy. As is Nubianette. Well, thanks for warming up Friday for me. Yes, it's just like a toilet seat, isn't it? Nice to come in without getting a shock when you sit down. Is that the right sort of metaphor, analogy? Maybe not. Maybe like an electric blanket, maybe. I know, you tell me. Warming up Friday on the Good Morning Portugal show is like... ... Good morning from Bob and Viv. They were there last night. I think you had a pretty good time, Bob and Viv. Lots of giggling from your Zoom window there. Great to see you on the screen. Singing the praises of our man in the north, Vitor. He was there. What an unusual and brilliant fellow he is. Vitor Costa put on his cooking apron and fried some eggs and made dinner whilst talking to us about Portugal and taking part in the quiz. He's a Renaissance man. But we are surrounded here, aren't we? We are the Renaissance community, let's face it. Bon dia from Pam in Alcobaster as well. Hey up, Pam, how are you? Hey up is the official greeting for somebody like Pam from the north of England. And I hope I did it justice as a shandy drinking southerner there, Pamela. Imagine a place called Tequila. Let's do that again, shall we, for a moment? How was that for you, imagining a place called Tequila in this early morning? Midlife crisis world tour. So interesting that the colonial history was not that long ago. I was 4 in 1961. Wow. Yes, and of course, the Carnation Revolution, 1974. That's incredibly recent and, in my view, incredibly relevant, with citizens rising up around the world, as it would seem, against their governments. I hear far too little reference to the Carnation Revolution in saying, we can have bloodless turnarounds in society where the people can feel better represented. Why isn't the Carnation Revolution and Portugal? Maybe they are. Maybe I've just missed it. But it's such a good example, is it not, the Carnation Revolution, of how our society can change, and in such recent history, and it lives on in people who are still alive here in Portugal. Isn't that incredible? And yes, I made 1961 sound a long time ago, didn't I? When I was reading that this day in Portuguese history. It was only, yes, it was 4 years before I was born, Rebel Mama. So yes, it's not long ago, is it? But glad to see that India is an entirely different place in that regard and in that part. Hola, bon dia, Jazz Funk track of the day, New York Skies. Here's to you, dedicated to all the Gumpers. Look at that. Oh, dedicated to all the GMP Gumpers and the Expats Portugal team. Great, Chris. Where are you this morning? Which, as in, not mentally, I've got a pretty good idea of where you are mentally. Positive chap that you are, and in your most beloved place, I think. So tell us more, if you will, if you want to. Horrifying thoughts, says Rebel Mama to James, and his idea to have us imagining tequila. I did enough tequila in my 20s to last me forever. So there's somebody who, all of us, don't we, have probably a particular booze, sometimes a food as well. The mere thought of it just makes us go, No, move on. Tequila, by the sound of it, for Rebel Mama there. Bon dia, Carl, and go! Luto por un amigo. What does that mean, Loy Long, on your picture there? Please do tell all. Good morning, Carl the elf. I'm the elf by myself here. Only in the studio, certainly not by myself in terms of the community. My dad did his national service in India until 1950. I bet he's got some story to tell, hasn't he? Until 1958 there. Quite extraordinary. So yes, 1961 for me, that was a very poor characterization of the ancient. Here we have people's parents who were doing national service in India in the late 50s there. What an extraordinary guest he would be on the show. Can you and your dad be on the show one day, Prof? How good would that be? Ah, yes. Good old administrative stuff. One foot in front of the other. Breathe deep and remember your pieces within you. It will all be sorted and you will get there. We're going to have to read that again, but only after. As I was going through the videos this morning, I found this one, which I should use more often. Check this out as I have some tea. I'm refreshed in every department. Now, some of you will think, it's 9 o'clock. He's playing the whistling thing. It's 9 o'clock. No, it's not 9 o'clock. That was just the please stand by theme there. So let's read this again. I'm thoroughly refreshed off that little break. That's all it took. Yes, good old administrative stuff from James to Jim. One foot in front of the other. Breathe deep and remember your pieces within you. It will all be sorted and you will get here. Isn't it great? Thank you very much for that, James. Our well-being monitor. I welcome you to go to the front of the class and hand that out whenever necessary. All right, brilliant. And James, eager to welcome you, Jim. I think you're going to have quite a welcome here. You're going to have a metaphorical rose petals beneath your feet from this community, Jim. We had a fabulous time. Says Viv. Oh, I'm so glad because it was quite intense for me. Quite a lot to do last night. And I was wondering what it was like for our beloved community and audience last night. So glad to hear that you had a fabulous time, Viv. That's fantastic. Hope one day to have zero occupation of people in the world. Well, there's a great. Let's go all John Lennon on this. Absolutely right. Imagine Wouldn't that be great? And I mean, I suppose the thing, what is it when if for a moment we can pause and ponder on this? You don't get this everywhere, do you? Where you can put a comment in like that and have it discussed. This is what people call deep and meaningful. And if that's what we are guilty as charged here, right? So zero occupation of the people in the world. See, to me, that's about unresolved stuff in people. The urge, these psychopathic urges, these narcissistic urges in people, I think come from their unresolved business and unhealedness, if there is such a term. I think James and Jim might know a thing about this. Would you agree? How do we bring that about? What would be the conditions? What would be the context for zero occupation, apart from our own sovereign occupation of our full own human potential in our own sovereign bodies? How would that be? Like a hot water bottle. Okay, so we warm up the day for you like a hot water bottle. We need it. It's so cold here, says Nubianet. So yeah, where are you currently and what's the temperature, Nubianet? Good morning, Carl. I hope you had a great party. I was visiting Qashqai, so I was unable to join you, but felt bad about missing the opportunity to meet people from this amazing community. Well, you're here in good company on the mornings for sure, Chris, and there will be other opportunities to join us on the webinars, which I have to say, they've become less and less formal because everybody, not everybody, but lots of people know each other on those calls. They are less formal. And just because you missed out on the Christmas party doesn't mean you'll miss out on the camaraderie at future events. So keep your eye on those. Go to the expatsportugal.com and / to the webinars. The coming up, I think it's the coming up tab. Click on that and you can book into any of the webinars. And of course, you'll get priority treatment if you're a premium member, which helps us keep the wheels turning. It was great to meet Portuglish yesterday at Gatwick Airport. Andy, thanks for a lovely afternoon. Yes, he mentioned that last night in his, I was going to call it a eulogy. Nice. Oh no. He talked to us a couple of times and talked about being part of the community and how great it was, Chris, and said how lovely it was to meet you at the airport. I mean, it's quite incredible to have two gumpers at Gatwick. Isn't that fantastic? Hey up, is that Yorkshire? Oh dear, I may have caused offence here, everybody, and I might need your help to get my way out of a diplomatic outrage here. Do you not say hey up in Manchester? What do you say when you greet people in Manchester then, Pam? What do people say to each other? Help, please. Pete, bromance flowing, Capricorn 12 with Chris. Yes, Chris and Andy and Chris sitting at the terminal, and probably not doing what they shouldn't be. They were absolutely in line, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't have been able to get on the aircraft. They had their 62 tests, 300 jabs, and the mental strength required for getting on an airplane these days. Well done, you two. I have to admit, I was dead excited about your flight. The lesser spotted highlighted comb over. If you don't know what he's talking about, Chris, he's talking to Portuglish Andy there, who took a photograph of a gentleman with a highlighted comb over, the lesser spotted. Watch out for Pete's coffee table book coming soon. Well, you guys are old. Me too. It happens. It just keeps happening. Today in Portuguese history too, 1531, Pope Clement VII establishes a parallel body. Maybe Coach Turner can help us establish parallel bodies after 9 o'clock. To the Inquisition in Lisbon, Portugal. Portugal's own Inquisition starts in what? Oh, it just gets worse, doesn't it? Occupation and now Inquisition. What have we learned anything? I mean, it's true to say that things are better, but we've still got areas for improvement for sure, right? Still Inquisitions in the world, aren't there? There's still occupations, but Portugal started its own in 1536, which lasted 285 years. It became the new normal. No, what's that about? Midlife crisis. What? Not you and your dad on the show? I think that probably is, isn't it? Reincarnation Revolution. Just wait until April. I decorated my veranda with red and green bunting for the 25th of April last year. This year I intend to hang a banner with Captain Maya on it. Yay, Khadija. That sounds like the Grenfell Inquiry Midlife Crisis World Tour. Yeah, exactly. How about some justice for those people? I meant Carl the Elf from last night's video at the party. I knew you did, Gary. That was hilarious, your video there. And if you send it to me, I'm happy to play it one of these mornings. The theme tune is worse than tinnitus. Well, thank you very much. And as it says in the Bambi movie, if you can't say nothing nice, don't say anything at all. The theme tune is worse than tinnitus. Which one, though, Rufus? If you want to stick around and be grumpy, or did you just do the typical troll thing, drop something and then run off? So which one, Rufus? And can we have a little bit more constructive criticism than that? Barefaced and nasty insult. I saw that you were both there from your post and wondered if you would find each other so fun. Isn't it amazing? The two gumpers at Gatwick. And bon dia, Carl, and all you gumpers. Time is flying by now. Not long before Carol and I, plus our 2 mutts, set sail for Bilbao, heading for our 3-month adventure, looking for a property. Fantastic, William. Some people are thinking, why on earth would they want to look for a property when they have a tour bus of that quality? It's a good question. Love the whistling tune, says Deagle. And I know it's true, isn't it? Didn't Winston Churchill once castigate a young boy for whistling? But the whistling boy had his own Churchillian comeback, if I remember rightly. I'll need some help on that. But whistling isn't everybody's cup of tea. I mean, just think Roger Whittaker. Hola, boa sexta-feira a todos from Matty. I agree, Carl. Unresolved issues, generational, really, indeed. So, hold on a bit. We can strip online without clothing. Okay. Who... Is that, has one of you changed your name and got into a different sort of entrepreneurial thing there? Well, good. Either it's one of you, one of the regulars who's rebranded, or it's a new person. Welcome, Loveface XYZ, and you're stripping online without clothing. Good morning to you. Hola, bon dia from Owen, star of the show yesterday. Loveface XYZ is quite persistent this morning. Owen from Matty. It was great yesterday, Owen. We're so looking forward to the Pattyman edition coming up soon, I hope, next month. So we definitely have you at least once a month. And folks, anyone who offered to buy Owen a drink yesterday, did you follow through on that? And because he was busking, basically, it was a bit of kitchen busking. If you're inspired and felt very good as a result of seeing his grub, then please send him a drink for Christmas. If you like Yorkshire Life, watch Hale and Pacey's take on Yorkshire Airlines on YouTube. I've not seen it. It sounds hilarious, though. I'm in the Bay Area in California, says Nubia Net. It's been 7 to 10 degrees all day. This is much better than news, isn't it? Full sun and night. That's cold for us at 7 to 10. Yeah, it's what you're used to, isn't it? My lad was saying that. When he first came to Portugal, he was used to Devon in the UK. And we would say, are you going to put a jumper on or a coat? And he said, no, I am one with the cold. And now he's been here for 4 years. He's kind of cold with 2 layers on. It's amazing how your body adapts. Nazare today and San Martino de Porto tomorrow afternoon. Yes, see you then, I hope. Lovely dinner last night. Lobster and then crab claws. I saw crab claws at the San Martino de Porto market and very nearly bought them, but I already had a couple of dorada in the fridge, everybody, that I cooked and then made fish soup. It was delicious. When there is peace in the heart, there is peace in the world. So that's what we've got to do, right? We've got to look within, haven't we? When are we going to learn that, folks? And I think, are we going to be the little cell? Are we going to be the virus of that? Let's put it that way. How about us becoming utterly contagious with that sentiment and encouraging people from this epicenter of goodness on the Goodness Morning Portugal show, those who recognize that when there is peace in the heart, there is peace in the world. Let's make that contagious, shall we? Encourage others to heal themselves and take that route to happiness. Amazing, Jim. Thank you for that. But the rest of the show is awesome, Broseph. Not trolling. Okay, all right. Sorry, I was a bit touchy there, wasn't it? Should have added a smiley. We're good. We're good, Rufus. We're good, Rufus. I'm very defensive, aren't I? Understandably, of our beloved theme tune. So, and thank you for coming back and saying that, Rufus. Appreciate that. Quick dad story. A friend of his already stationed in India offered to sell him his motorbike. My dad was broke, but made him an offer and raised the money pre-selling motorbike lessons on the boat over. Yes, that is very enterprising, isn't it? And more of those, please, Prof, from Portuguese Dad. In fact, we could call it Portuguese Dad moment. I can't even imagine 285 years of aggressive religious oppression. Talk about injury and trauma that needs healing. Find our own peace and share it with others. There, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Ronnie Haley. Ronnie! Happy morning, happy Christmas from the aforementioned Devon. Lots of love to you, Jack, and the family. That's fantastic. Yeah, I love virus. We're all infected. It's kind of terminal as well, isn't it? Without wanting to put a downer on it. Why doesn't my hotel TV remote have a built-in corkscrew? That's a great idea, isn't it? We're all going to be rich, everybody. Thank you for sharing that, Ubi, this morning. There's been a sudden surge in patent registrations for the corkscrew remote as of the 17th of December 2021. Reports are coming in. We'll come back to your comments because I did say I'll do the weather. You've managed to keep me away from the news, and I thank you for that. God bless you. Here on the we're going to be the Wuhan of the love virus, aren't we? It's going to be traced back to us in due course. Dr. Fauci won't know what we're talking about, obviously. So I'm going to share my screen with you and share the weather with you, and then we'll talk to Coach Turner after this. Where is it? There it is. I'm getting excited about this love virus thing, everybody. It's distract and in a good way, just as it should. So here's the weather. Let's go to the capital this morning, and we'll go straight to the Fahrenheit in the capital. Oh, what's happened here? Okay, I think I've broken the show. I don't know if you can still hear me, but I've broken the show, it would appear. Oh, no, we're back again now, I think. Since trying to load the Tequila Sunrise video, that has been a real problem to the computer this morning. It's running very slowly, but that is the way of growing old disgracefully, running slowly. So the computer is setting a good example this morning. Lisbon, 48 degrees Fahrenheit, and rising to 63. That's the low today, 48, rising to a very comfortable 63. Would you like that, Nubianet? Because it's going to go from 9, which is a bit chilly by Californian standards, to 17 later today. Cloudy all the way for the next week or so, with a bit of rain as well in the capital. Porto, a sunny Friday and Saturday, cloudy next week. Porto currently 8, rising to 15. Coimbra currently 9, rising to 17. Little bit of sun peeking through from behind the clouds tomorrow, Saturday. Faro's still cloudy and rainy. 14 degrees at the moment with broken clouds, rising to 16. Where did we get to on our tour around the country? I think we got to Viseu. We're going to go to Bragança and Guarda. -1 in Guarda, everybody, the low point, and currently -1 there. Think yourself lucky. Scattered clouds, rising to 9, though, later on. That's going to be a beautiful day in Guarda when it gets to 9. And Bragança, sunny at the moment, a sunny Friday. 12 degrees the high, currently at 5, started off at 4. How about that? There's your weather. We're going to play the 9 o'clock theme tune now after that false start earlier on, which made you think we'd fast forwarded the world 15 minutes. And we'll talk to Coach Turner, and we'll do a little bit of growing old disgracefully after this. See you then. Sorry about that, Rufus. Look, you can uncover your ears now. Let's bring on to the screen. It's time to grow old disgracefully. Some would say many of us have been doing it for quite a few months now. Coach Turner, live from the UK. How are you, Coach?
Morning. I'm really good, thank you. Actually, I need to turn your sound up because it's a bit quiet. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliantly.
Cool.
I can hear the birds singing, I think, at your end. Sounds like a lovely, beautiful morning in Hertfordshire.
It's cloudless. All I can see is a few vapor trails. So it's a beautiful morning. Sun's just coming up behind the trees.
Lovely. So, a good day for getting out there in your tracksuit.
Not today. Too much to do today. But I will be going for a walk a bit later on. But I don't need a tracksuit to do that.
No, that's true. That's true. Although it does help, I think. Is it true that if you put a tracksuit on, it helps you if you lose a few extra calories, or is that just a Daily Mail rumor?
No,
okay.
Complete bollocks. There's a lot of it about.
It's so true. And I think actually, isn't that part of growing old disgracefully, Ian? The ability with your old BS detector that develops as well, doesn't it, as part of this program, or is that a natural feature of getting older?
Yeah. There's an awful lot of it about, and yes, I guess we do learn as we get older what's complete BS and what actually works.
Now, I'm not quite sure how rude the word bollocks is. I mean, it's already been said probably 3 times now, so we'll just go with it. Because Prof. Eusebio was talking about his dad. My dad was known in his Surrey village as Mr. Bollocks, not because he forgot to put his trousers on when he used to go out, although I think he probably did do that a couple of times, but because as he got older, his BS detector became very highly attuned, almost oversensitive. And he would just say bollocks in someone's face and walk away. And thereafter became known as Mr. Bollocks in the village of Ashted in Surrey. So you can see I'm from pretty good genes there.
Good stock.
So, yes, here's to Mr. Bollocks this morning. Please, for those who don't know about growing old disgracefully, did you have a eureka moment when you thought, this is what's needed? Tell us about it.
Oh, good question. I guess it's something that's kind of crept up almost. It wasn't a eureka moment. I was getting distinctly porky. Not hugely, but just enough to be annoying. And because I'm a bit of a narcissist, I thought, I'm not happy with this. I can't go walking around a beach and be comfortable because my stomach was hanging out. So what am I going to do about this? And does it need to be extreme? And, like you, and I guess lots and lots of other people, we've been on fitness schemes or been to classes and come away thinking, didn't enjoy that. What? Just, why do stuff you don't enjoy? So,
yes, well said.
So I began to do rather more walking. And because I broadly knew a fair bit about athletics and I've been coaching kids for a long while, I thought, well, I ought to apply this to myself, really. So, duh.
Seems fair enough. Yeah.
It was perhaps more that Homer Simpson moment, not a eureka moment. So
I love it. That's perfectly fitting. Yes.
Yeah.
So
it is for me.
Yeah.
It's that this was the donut thing, wasn't it? Purple's a fruit.
So I like it. Yeah, we're not going for Archimedes. We're going for Homer Simpson as our role model.
Homer Simpson guide to fitness.
There's another name for it. So, okay, how long ago was this then? When you were looking
well, I guess
down?
5 or 6 years ago. I mean, I had been active. I'd done, as a youngster, I played rugby. I was never trained. In fact, the only training was in the bar. But of course, as a youngster, you can get away with it because nothing, it doesn't affect you really, except the morning after. Yeah. So then I did run. I've run marathons in my time. Hated them, but I did them all the same because it was the thing to do. And I guess I've always done some activity, but it was getting the balance right, really. So I was enjoying my life too much and not balancing it with exercise. So, and when you get to your sort of mid to late 40s, it does catch up with you. Yeah. So that would be 15 years ago or more. But I was still coaching, still working, not a lot of time. And really, it was beginning when I started to wind down working, which was probably 5 or 6 years ago now. I thought, right, we can do something about this. Yes. Gradually did a bit more walking every day, gradually built quick walking into that. And then, began to get back into running and sprinting. And so I do that now. And that's my training broadly. I still walk pretty much every day. That may be just down the road for coffee, but it all counts. But then I do train at the track probably 3 times a week.
Okay, but no one need get concerned though, need they? You don't have to sprint or go to the track. What we're talking about here is doing something you enjoy, but doing more of it and building new habits. I mean, you're in incredibly good shape, as we'll see from the videos, Ian. So obviously, your Homer Simpson moment worked, and you did turn inward, as that seems to be the theme of this morning, and the healer healed thyself there.
Yeah,
and you know, it sounds like you no longer look down on a belly as big as it used to be.
Well, it's certainly, you know, I guess I've dropped a stone in imperial terms, 14 pounds or 7-8 kilos from my max. In fact, a bit more than that, because I've dropped another couple of kilos in the last few weeks.
Do we know the science of this? I mean, because some of the things we're doing here are challenging sort of preconceptions as well, aren't we? I mean, what happens? Why do men get a beer gut, for example? And why? And part of it, I think, part of the context of this is people accept, don't they, that they become decrepit or aging can't be contended with, or you can't. It's a losing battle. It's a poor context that we live in as a society, and you're proving that something can be done about that. Or we are, aren't we, with this program?
We are. I mean, how's your training going? Because you know, you're doing a bit every day.
Oh yeah. Well, there are a couple of things that come immediately to mind, and I was thinking about it this morning. I've got 2 dogs, and that is that's the foundation of my well-being. I realized this morning, and I thanked my dogs. Mentally, I didn't say it out loud in the street to them, because it's bad enough with some of the things you've got me doing. I'm having to manage my reputation quite assiduously, I think is the word here in the neighborhood. So I just gave a little gesture of gratitude towards my dogs, who get me out at least twice a day. And I get out there in the fresh air in the morning. And I really feel like it used to be, like you say, when you're young, you just take so many things for granted. I'm just walking the dogs. But I realized that going out with the dogs twice a day is a really good foundation. That's my foundational thing. And because of what you've introduced, the habits, how you've changed how I think about it, I think, okay, I'm going to go a bit longer, or I'm going to go for another walk today. So that's been pivotal for me in working with you, is in thinking, is pushing it, is building on what I've done, rather than just getting set in a particular habit. Okay, well, I'll have another walk with the dogs, or we'll get in the car and go and we'll walk to the beach. Walk at the beach. We'll go somewhere else, but further and more often. And I think this is a key principle, which we can share in a video, can't we? In just a moment, I've got the 3 principles, which is it's like the introductory foundational thing. But that certainly happened for me. And then, of course, the things that I do worry about a little bit when going past my neighbours' houses are breaking into a run suddenly, spontaneously, and this intermittent style, the fartlek, which we'll also show a video about, and funny walks. Lunging past the neighbours, a funny walk past the neighbours, that sort of thing. So all of these little bits that, and I think this is a key to how you approach things, is the introduction of something new and a little bit different. Try it, increase it, and slowly build on it. Does that characterise growing old disgracefully as you see it?
Absolutely. There's all sorts of things we could do. I mean, there's so many different exercises people can do, and all will work in one way or another. But introducing them very gradually, so you don't injure yourself, which throws the whole thing back. So absolutely. Start slowly. Introduce, mix it up. Doing lots of different stuff is good too.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Pete says we have a guy locally who walks to the shop about 20 kilometers and back, and he must be in his 80s. Now that's just amazing. And you do see that in Portugal, don't you? And widows in black dresses that appear from nowhere, at least 30 kilometers from civilization in any direction. Yeah. And the oldies in their 70s, 80s who are bent double in a field picking cabbage in a way that would put many yogis to shame, I think, because again, they've done a little bit very often, haven't they?
And it's done it all their lives.
And it's a habit, isn't it? Rather than going to yoga once a week. These guys are doing like green yoga, aren't they? They're doing sort of self-sufficiency yoga out in the fields of central Portugal. And it's not a big deal to them.
No.
No. Andy here also, my daily workout is the Great Dane, 3 walks per day. Because that's a workout for sure, isn't it? Managing a Great Dane, I'm sure. 3 walks a day. My muscles are pumped from this morning's 50-minute yomp. And that's beautiful as well, because Suze is saying, I was in almost every sport in school. Now dog walking is it, luckily in nature. Backdrop, environment is all important as well. There she is in Finland enjoying nature, out for a dog walk. And Andy gets to, he sounds like he looks forward to going out around Lisbon, which you would do, wouldn't you? I mean, so backdrop is all important as well. Go enjoy where the place where you live and live there and love it would be a way of doing this as well.
In fact, my just on Finland, my son and family are heading there today for Christmas because my son's partner is Finnish.
How lovely. So maybe you can share a Finnish greeting with us in the comments this morning. Suze,
I can't.
Well, it's for you. It's maybe for Ian, for Coach Turner. A little line of Finnish that he can say to his son when he's to him at Christmas. Maybe Finnish for Happy Christmas would be a good start, wouldn't it? So let's go to these 3 basic principles. Ian and I, not only has Ian been working on this, I've been doing a little bit of work with him. And do you know what, Ian? We've made 30 little videos now for this.
Blimey.
So there are 30 videos, and they're all short form like this with nuggets of information to integrate into your lifestyle. So see what you think of this. This is the 3 basic principles. From the track, I think you're reporting from the track here.
Reporting from the track. So I wanted to introduce you to the basic principles of this course, which are based around the 3 core activities, or 3 core aims for just about any fitness, and they form also the core of an athlete's requirements, which are stamina, speed and strength. 3 S's. There's 2 more which athletes need, suppleness and skill. Skill is sadly under emphasized for a lot of athletes, but we won't go there today. It's not what we're trying to do. So those 3, stamina, speed, strength, are the 3 areas we're going to concentrate on, and we'll do them in different modules so that you can look at one in isolation and begin to learn from it, but they're all linked, of course, so as is all this stuff. So we'll start off looking at stamina, which will be based primarily around walking, though of course there are other activities that can help with that. We'll then begin to look at speed, and some of the interesting research that's been done over the last few years into something called high intensity interval training. Athletes have always done interval training, whether they be distance athletes or sprinters or throwers. We've always done that, but what's become clear over the last few years in the research is that it actually makes a massive difference to your metabolism as you age. It really helps. So adding a bit of speed to your activity is really important. And lastly, strength. I've noticed, I'm 64 now, I've noticed my strength reducing over the last few years because I didn't train for it. That may sound strange for someone who does a bit of athletics, and I do still occasionally compete. But I'm now having to do strength training, which I've never done before. So doing simple strength exercises, and they can be from the very basics, they don't have to be hard, will really benefit you as you age. And so we'll have a look at strength in a later module. So we'll try and put those all together finally into activities that you can do every day. Simple stuff. You don't need to be at a track like this. I'll show you around. Here's our outdoor track, and that's the indoor one where we did some other films. We're very blessed to have these facilities. You don't need those. So we'll look at the 3 S's in sequence and then try and stitch them all together.
I love that, Coach, and I love the music as well. It puts a bit of a spring in your step, doesn't it?
Yeah, it works, doesn't it?
You're a lucky man having that. That's your office, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah. When I'm working. Well, no, it's not work. I love it.
That's excellent. So we've got comments coming in, which is fantastic, and also maybe coach questions to the coach. I have a specific. I'm moving from belly to butt now. I think a few of us can agree that one of the symptoms of maybe a little indication from the body to do the work that the coach is talking about here is a bit of a big belly. But I do have a bottom question that I would like to come to a little bit later on. Any other questions for the coach? Stick them in the comments. Some great comments though. The badass old folk of Portugal. Another coffee table book possibly. But look at this. Oh yes, my 86-year-old neighbour has been hauling wood from the forest for the last week, getting ready for winter, right? It's like something from a Christmas Carol, isn't it? She is badass in capitals, inspirational, really. I mean, truly, really important people as an inspirational example to us, right? At 86, pulling timber back from the forest. I believe focusing on health and not body size or shape is the important bit. So no body shaming here. I think it was symptomatic, wasn't it, the belly? I mean, I think James is right. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you?
Totally. Yeah. It's just being comfortable with yourself, really.
Yes.
But however, having said that, a big flabby belly is actually indicative of you not being particularly healthy.
Yes.
And there's lots of evidence that obesity is surprisingly easy to reach.
Quote of the morning.
Yeah.
That's such a lovely way of putting it.
But unfortunately, it can lead to serious illness. I was chatting to my son, who's now doing ultramarathons madly. He's been doing a lot of research on health as part of his sort of training almost. And he was telling me that someone who is, he described them as an elite athlete, but I guess, I'd probably fit into that category, is 10 times less likely to suffer serious illness than someone who has, a big belly and smokes. So, each thing you can improve at is going to improve your life chances later on down the line, and allow you to enjoy life.
Indeed. And part of accepting yourself is being honest with yourself, isn't it?
Yeah. We're very good at cheating ourselves, aren't we?
I think so. And it's very interesting to, if we are inspired by 86-year-olds who are hauling timber back for winter from the forest, they've got something to teach us in this department as well, probably. I don't suppose they are quite as... or they're probably a bit more honest with themselves, perhaps, or they live in a very different lifestyle. They're habituated to a different lifestyle, unlike ours.
Yeah, they probably don't even think about it.
Indeed. Yes,
it's just their life. I guess the corollary of that is, both my parents, particularly my mum, she became almost a hermit at home and never went out, never walked, and just gradually faded away.
Yeah.
Dad less so. He went downhill rapidly when he fell over at home and broke a couple of bones. So, which is often the case, isn't it?
It is.
He exercised reasonably. I mean, he was still playing tennis at 80. So, he perhaps was more of a lesson. But as soon as he couldn't exercise, he went down very quickly. So, keeping fit and healthy is a really important part of enjoying your life as long as you can.
Yeah, And in a way, I mean, I know that a lot of these old folks in Portugal, their lives have been very tough, certainly in earlier decades.
Yeah.
But we're so fortunate, aren't we, in the sense that it's never too late to become a Portuguese badass, presumably, because you can get into those habits now, can't you? And they can become the habits of your lifetime.
Yeah, I like that. That's another part of our vocabulary, isn't it?
It is.
Growing old disgracefully. Be a badass.
Especially when if we have a get together, and Maria is our guest of honor, who doesn't really understand why she's there, because she doesn't know what we're going on about with this growing old disgracefully thing. Like you say, she doesn't even think about it; she just does it. But we're all going to be like sat down on a bench wheezing while she is collecting wood from the forest, where we're supposed to be on a workshop learning how to be a Portuguese badass with her. So maybe we could do something like that. That'd be fantastic. So point taken there, James. Absolutely right. No, it would be counterproductive to be shaming people. We're not taking that approach at all. But I think being honest with ourselves is quite an important part of this. The secret of growing old gracefully is to believe you're young and never walk up the stairs, but run. Very good. As long as you've done the appropriate health and safety assessment. Only kidding. I love that about the elderly.
I run upstairs all the time. It's when you decide to run up an escalator and you forget how long it is.
they just keep on trucking, the elderly here in Portugal. We do need to talk to some Portuguese elders, don't we? I walk 2 miles to the bus at 7 a.m. and we'll be on walkabout all weekend. Nice one, Victoria. There she is.
Morning, V.
A wham pam of Greywatch, of course. It's been so good to be working with you and Rebel Mama on this as well. Thank you for your help over the last few weeks. Couldn't agree more, says Ronnie, who's with us from Devon this morning. I needed to push myself, so joined over 55s. I don't think it's the couch. I think it's a coach. And therein is another catchphrase for us. Is it going to be couch or coach? And I think it's probably over 55 coaching at Holden Forest, which is a beautiful place near Exeter. But bit by bit got there and went on to do a virtual marathon along the Tiverton Canal. My inspiration was everyone around me was at least 60 to 75 plus. So amazing. Well done, Ronnie. Another great example for us there. Thunder's back.
There's a lot of people that do coach to 5K or coach to 10K. Couch, rather, not coach.
Okay, again, I mean, whatever it is that floats your boat, so to speak, whatever you hit the nail on the head earlier on, Ian. There's no point going to a class or doing something you're not going to enjoy, because you're not going to keep doing it, are you?
No. It takes a lot more self-discipline to do something you just don't enjoy doing. Yes. That's why, getting out for a walk, particularly in the countryside, it's good for your body. But it's normally good for your mental health too. Yeah, get out among the trees or onto the beach.
Yep. So think about the things you enjoy, and then do it in a regular and then progressively more intense way. Taking the stairs, not the lift, from James Bell. 2 steps at a time when possible. Yes. Yep. Sprinting up the stairs past the teenagers. Good morning, Carl and Coach Turner from Thunder. And age is a state of mind, not a date on the calendar. Absolutely right. It's true. James, that's what I do at work. 2-step upward lunge up the stairs, going past the students, I expect. Love Face XYZ is still here, everybody. Suze, here you go.
I won't take my clothes off. It's all right.
All right, just to let everybody know. That's for the calendar next year. So here's Happy Christmas in Finnish for when you need it next week there. And that'll be Hiva Joulua. That's like a Hakuna Matata, isn't it? That's got a nice ring to it. Hiva Joulua. Happy Christmas to all the Finns. Andy, who we know is an amazing athlete in his own way. I was going to the same way as Coach. So I also changed my diet in terms of quantity and exercising. Shorter walk this morning, cycling to pick up lunch, then local Keep Fit class tonight. I know he's a fan of the Boom Boom Brazil in Bairrada there. I've gone for a walk 3 times this morning. That fruitcake won't fetch itself, Hey! Nice one, Prof. Love this, says Dominique Core, the growing old disgraceful. Yeah, if you want to get involved with us, we're still testing, really. We're still testing the program. So just drop me a line, carl@expatsportugal.com, and you can start working with us. Pete, Portuglish, are you going to be the first to take up Lovelace or Love Face on their seemingly unbelievable offer to strip without clothing? One would think that skin stripping would be rather gruesome. I don't think it's that, Pete. And Jeff, delighted to see that Andy and Chris met up at the Gatwick yesterday. 2 gumpers at Gatwick. Great to hear your story of your accidental meetup at LGW. Makes it sound really exotic, doesn't it, LGW? A bit like LAX, but it's not. I was in great shape after only 2 weeks of walking everywhere while on vacation in Italy. I'm sure the backdrop there had something to do with it, because the food doesn't help, does it? I love their tradition of walking in the evening. And that's going to make a big difference as well, isn't it? The evening promenade. Again, if that's what you like doing, go do it, and do it for longer each time.
Well, they all dress up, don't they, to go out for their evening promenade in Italy?
And it's not going to be a tracksuit in Italy, is it?
No.
Well, maybe a
sharp suit, maybe
a sharp suit or a silk tracksuit, maybe something really stylish as you side saddle on your Vespa. Suze Casola, I am having trouble with my aged and less healthy appearance. Hence, picture of a dog. Can't take a satisfying selfie these days. There, I said it. Well, I'm not quite sure what to say about that, Susan. I think it's often, platitudes like, you're among friends here. Please, see us as friends and as a warm, helpful and supportive community. I don't know if others can help with that. What would you say, Coach? I mean, we have to. It's easy to say, isn't it? Accept yourself the way you are. And I know it's especially difficult for women in the sort of society we live in, with all the pressure to look this way and look that way and follow certain stereotypes. But we are all pals here. We're not going to judge, are we?
No, we won't judge. And I agree. I think it's much more difficult for women than men.
Yeah.
Because basically most men don't give a monkey.
That's right. Is that the approach?
Having sworn earlier on, I'll stop myself again.
Others, and who are we to tell Suze what to do or how to do it?
No.
But there may be better folk better suited to offering a bit of a supportive support. Not it's probably you probably don't want advice. There's us being blokey about it, trying to fix it.
Mansplaining.
We hear you. That's what we need to say, isn't it? We hear you. We hear you.
Mind you, it's a lovely looking dog.
Okay. And I don't think this is the answer to that particular question. Strap on your GoPro, but it is good advice as well. They have filters now. It's amazing what they see. Andy's solution is to put a filter on his Instagram. There's one approach, very modern. There's also research showing that heart coherence is an incredibly powerful healer. See the Heart Math Institute. Love that place. Okay, I think I will be fed enough without a strap on, says Pete. Then FXD. Leslie, thank you for bringing some sense and erudition here. Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. I started eating whole food, plant-based, just 1 year ago, lost a ton of weight and lowered my blood pressure too. Well, I think, Coach, we'd agree here, wouldn't we, that taking on board more whole plant foods is a pretty good thing as part of a whole regime. You say you're not a nutritionist, but I've got to say it wasn't advice, but the pointers you gave about nutrition and food were spot on. The dreaded sugar. This is a tricky thing in Portugal, isn't it? But sugar was one thing. I recall you saying it's a scourge, isn't it? It's a difficult thing. And what were some of the other things you were saying around that nutrition department? Because I know people like to talk about that here.
Right, they do. Just back on sugar for a second. I mean, I guess we all had sugar in our tea and coffee and pretty much everything, didn't we?
Yeah,
so
we did.
just cutting that out makes a huge difference to your health.
Yeah.
Fasting seems to be an effective way of helping you reduce the amount you eat. I mean, that seems blatantly obvious, but it actually changes. We're designed because of the way we, going back hundreds of thousands of years or however many it is. we had to fast because we didn't have any choice, because it's feast or famine, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So our bodies are tuned to that. For me, I just don't have breakfast generally. I do sometimes, but not often. So my first meal of the day is probably 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So then I haven't eaten for how many hours that is, about 16, 17 hours.
Yeah.
And it seems to work for me. Won't work for everybody. But that it doesn't affect my ability to run or live. It seems to actually help my daily sort of sugar levels, almost keeps them in more balance.
And this is what people broadly refer to as intermittent fasting, right?
Yeah.
To have your body
every day. But I guess 2 meals a day. It doesn't say I don't occasionally have a snack, and I had to open a crisp packet last night. But that's because I had 2 or 3 glasses of wine as well.
Fortunately, you had the strength to do it.
I managed to open it.
Okay, so
that's the balance, isn't it? Yeah,
it is.
By cutting out things like sugar, it means the wine has less effect on you. From that point of view.
Yes, yeah, but this is we're bringing mindfulness in here, aren't we? Because the thing about both those things, sugar and intermittent fasting, is you have to think about it. You have to be self-aware, don't you, to do either of those. And with the sugar thing, Portugal's shocking for sweet treats. No, and I don't, Maria, as I was referring to her, the 86-year-old who's hauling timber back from the forest. I don't suppose she eats the amount of cakes that are modern that her daughter and granddaughter might be eating. Something's changed in the culture, hasn't it? Where the padaria, the pasteleria, you can eat cake all day long here, and I don't suppose a lot of the oldies would do it in quite that way, and in a mindful way. It would be a treat, and that's probably quite a good way of looking at it, isn't it? Is to ritualize it rather than just making it part of your daily routine. Every time you have a coffee, you have a nata or something like that. It's to make it special.
Yeah, totally. I remember back to when I was a kid, and having a fizzy drink or crisps or a sweet. That was a treat. You probably didn't have them more than once or twice a week.
Wow, it's hard to imagine now, isn't it? When we,
totally. Kids have virtually what they want these days.
Yeah,
and it's not healthy.
We lived in a whole.
To be fair to my kids, they seem to have almost gone back to that now when looking after their own children. So maybe we stand a hope, or maybe they were just brought up proper.
and then the mindfulness of intermittent fasting. If you start to monitor yourself more, that's got to be a good thing, isn't it? So as you start this, not having breakfast, there's nothing greater as a mindfulness exercise than hunger, is there? To me, meditation and mindfulness is being about being aware of what's going on now in the moment, and your body is great for doing that for you. So you're getting some extra value there to be aware of the hunger, and instead of your first impulse to be quick, eat something, as because that is our primal coding, isn't it? Hunger means take advantage of any food situation around you, and we do that, and that's how we get obese, obviously. But if you can stop for a moment and monitor, and how does this really feel? Am I going straight to my knee-jerk response, if you like? And knee-jerk is quite good for physical fitness as well, obviously. But if you're going straight to your conditioning to eat something, it might be worth just pausing, mightn't it, and thinking, hold on a minute, is this real hunger? Or is it just a more superficial sort of thing that my primal instincts are in line with here? Maybe I can leave this meal out.
That's true. The only other thing I'd say about introducing something like intermittent fasting is do it gradually, like the training.
Yes, yes.
So that your body gets used to the change in a gentle way, not trying to do it, these crash bang wallop diets. I think do more damage than anything. And introducing a gradual change, make it a habit, and then you don't have to think about it. So you think about it while you're introducing it,
Yeah.
But then it becomes a habit, and you don't have to think about it, and it's just, you've improved your well-being.
And 28 days should do that. Is that right? Is that when something becomes a more of an unconscious habit around a month? I think.
I guess so. It'd be something like that. I'm sure there's, 28 days seems like a month to me.
Yes.
they picked a length of time. It'll take a month. It's like if you practice something 10,000 times, you're perfect at it or something.
Mastery, that's right. 10,000 hours possibly. I think that's maybe Malcolm.
Whatever it is, you'll do it. Well, it depends what it is, doesn't it? At the end of the day.
Not true about breathing, I don't think. But then again, that's where the consciousness comes in. All right,
we're kind of good at that.
But not that good, right? I mean, breathing, we could arguably be a lot better at breathing with, because we get into certain bad habits with that. But that's a whole other question, an episode possibly with the breathing thing. YouTube channel.
We could do a whole another video on that.
Let's do that.
Breathing through the nose and out through the mouth is generally a good thing when you're training.
All right. Okay. Top tip there. And yes, so the little note to ourselves there to do a breathing thing. A YouTube channel, Portuguese with Leo. This is a smart move. This is a hack. Has a nice 25-minute workout I like to do before my run. 3 levels, easy, mid, hard, and it is in Portuguese. And he's pretty hot too. There's a lot of boxes being ticked there. Combining learning Portuguese with the workout and a bit of eye candy while you're about it. Very good. Suze, that may be, but think it's better to accept oneself. Warts and all. Absolutely, Suze. Absolutely. Vivian, Bob has found that developing a squat after bending over at the waist has worked wonders for. I thought it was going to be a joke coming here, but this is a true story. Bending over at the waist has worked wonders for stretching, balance, and posture. So, developing a squat after bending, which I think probably brings me to the question I had for you. I am quite staggered by how flabby my bottom has become in these last few years. What do I do, Coach?
Well, I think you're beginning to do the right things.
Okay.
Plenty of walking. Squats are good. Lunges are good. Any of those sorts of exercises that actually work your bottom.
Work your bottom, everybody.
You may have to think about, if you're doing squats, adding some weight. Because gradually that, as we've done through all of these, just do it gradually.
Yeah.
And it could be just, some 5 litre, couple of 5 litre cans of water.
And how do I attach those to my bottom?
You don't. You hang on to them with your hands.
Okay, you're right.
God, bloody hell.
Okay, thank you for that, Coach. Thank you for your honest courage, Suze. I believe accepting and loving our aging is a developmental process, like all other development stages we talk about. Thank you, James. That was the answer we were hoping for. We just don't talk about this later last stage of life so much. We do here, don't we? That's exactly what we're doing. So bring it on, along with the love virus. These days, I have a furrowed brow like Gordon Ramsay. Says Andy. Yeah, too much thinking, Andy. I run 10K a week. Thinking's bad for you. Even though I return feeling great, I usually don't feel like going in the first place. That's interesting, isn't it? And I've heard a really nice little tip from, I don't know who it was, motivational expert, is a lot of it is getting the tracksuit and the trainers on.
Getting started.
Getting started is so helpful, isn't it? Portugal, with its cobbled pavements and hot weather, gives me the excuse I'm looking for. So Chris has found a great backdrop. 10K a week sounds like a hell of a lot to me. Can we talk a little bit about trainers, Coach? Because I entitled that little video "Shoes Wisely." You like that? See what I did there?
Yeah, I thought that was quite cute.
Thank you. You're a little bit suspicious, aren't you, of these over-engineered wedges that they look like that people run on? Can we not just put on the old Stan Smiths and a flat plimsoll to go running in? What's going on?
Totally. That's exactly what I'd promote, because it makes your foot work. The modern trainer is so built up and cushioned that your foot becomes, I'll say, lazy, for want of a better word. It's so supported that the muscles inside your foot kind of stop working. So, and they are generally built up at the heel a lot as well. So, so your foot then is in a different position when you're walking or running. I mean, they're okay for walking because it's less important. But if you're running, you really want to run on the part of your foot, on the ball of your foot. So you shouldn't be using the heel at all. But these shoes are built up at the back because lots of people heel strike when they run.
Yeah.
So if you think about where your foot's going to be in relation to your hip, if your heel's going down first, it's going to be in front of your hip. So that's actually stopping you going forwards, which is rather against the idea of running.
You're running against yourself. That's
You're
not
running
good,
against yourself. You're stopping yourself with every stride. So, so you don't need these shoes that are hugely built up at the back. You want shoes with as little cushioning in them as possible to allow your foot to actually work.
Very good.
And if your foot's working, then your ankle's working, your calf's working. So it's all helping you keep that in good condition rather than it all sort of becoming flabby and useless.
So old school is good. So green flash.
Old school is pretty good.
Stan Smith's.
I mean, the story about how Nike began the revolution in trainers is interesting because the original Nike trainers were pretty flat. They just had, a decent sole on them, whereas the old Stan Smith's flimp soles really didn't. So that's why the old flimp soles aren't quite as good as you need.
Okay.
But they didn't have all this cushioning and building and. But that sells shoes at 160 quid a pop or whatever it does,
doesn't it? Yeah, added value, I think they call it, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's easy, isn't it, in this, as with so many sports and leisure activities, to have all the gear but no idea. Because actually people feel like they're doing something, don't they, if they go out and spend a load of money and invest in it. Yes, so it's fine to go up into the attic and get those green flash out of a box.
Dunlop green flash.
And I tell you what, the way things are, you'll probably get some kid coming up to you and say, I'll give you €100 for those green flash because I can sell them as old school vintage trainers, retro, on eBay. See how that goes, everybody. So Chris says, so often I don't go running when I'm here. How have others found running here? Okay, so you're a 10K a week man, but not doing it. Why is that then? Can't be that it's too hot at this time of year, Chris. Why is that? And can anyone else resonate with Chris's comment now? Not the case for Andy. Lots of jogging and cycling in Lisbon. Brave man going cycling. You're not keen on cycling, are you, in these dangerous environments, Coach, as I recall?
Well, it's certainly not around here. I mean, I live just north of the M25 near Potter's Bar, and it's really, really busy around here. So we both of us, my wife Leslie and I, we did spend a couple of years going out riding certainly every weekend. And I just got to the stage where I hated it because it was cars coming past you at 60 or 70 miles an hour.
It's awful.
And trucks and skip lorries. Skip lorries are the worst.
Yes.
It just becomes dangerous. And lots of my friends who are serious cyclists, do a lot of cycling, triathlon, have had accidents and bad ones. So bluntly, it isn't worth it. It's great exercise. If I was in maybe France or Portugal, well, bits of Portugal, I probably would do more cycling.
Yeah, well, to be fair to the Portuguese, actually, there are a lot of great cycle tracks now. There is definitely a priority for actually wide pedestrian and mixed-use pedestrian and cycling paths, which I think is probably where Andy's going. You can cycle along the waterfront in Lisbon, and it's fantastic. Yeah. It's not all tram lines and cobbles there. So along the waterfront is a fabulous place to cycle. Yeah. So I didn't mean
cobbles wouldn't be good, especially in the wet.
Great, and that's what Jean is saying to Chris. Not everything is cobbled, so maybe run on the riverfront, and that'll be lovely for you down there, Chris. Pete walks around the garden, yes, because he's got about 5,000 acres there. So just going to get some herbs, getting some herbs for dinner or some salad is probably like doing a triathlon for Pete there. Another great title, 2 Gumpers at Gatwick there, and that's come out. Chadwick. I wanted to mention the group public exercise sessions in many Portuguese towns, usually weekly with a choice of walks and runs. Yeah, and they often start outside the town hall, don't they, Pam? Good shout. Always be kind to yourself. That's a foundational principle for sure here. And James said something very beautiful, or poignant, I should say. Not. It's beautiful in this. We might get some relief from this nonsense if we so choose. But look, sadly, there remains a strong pressure on women to be 25 their whole life. It's true. Sadly, but we're smarter than that here. Did local Zumba and keep fit? I was the only bloke I know, which I'd prefer, surrounded by glowing women, or down the gym surrounded by sweaty geezers. Yeah, I think Zumba and keep fit, when you put it like that, Andy. How odd is it that there is no COVID certificate or test requirement to get on a bus to Spain? Odd for sure, but part of the bit of a mess that we find ourselves in at the moment, I think. We all judge. So it's about being aware. Yes, okay, we do judge. We said we didn't judge, didn't we, Ian? We do. We just don't say it out loud, possibly. But I think James is taking it a stage further. It's about being aware we are judging and how we are judging that matters positively or negatively. So there's that mindfulness. There's that awareness thing again. Well said. That's a good intervention there, James. Thank you very much for that. Andy, a wise and savvy fellow with his Zumba there. Rebel Mama to Suze, it's society's insidious rejection of older women. I think it stems from the idea that powerful women elders, they have no place in the patriarchal society. Aging is golden. Well, you know, it's not an issue. Well, maybe. Go on.
I've always believed that we live in a matriarchal society.
Yes.
Okay. All the women I know are far more powerful than the men.
Yes, that's in the family subset, isn't it? If not in society at large. And I think Portugal's a lot like that, interestingly. But a good comment, Rebel Mama. I also skip breakfast many days and only eat one meal in a day. Intermittent fasting. There you go. He works for Thunder Ducky. Yeah. He's a pretty slim fella. Slim's a word that's not used very much these days. It sounds so 70s, doesn't it? Ooh, you're looking very slim.
There aren't many people that are.
That's why it's not used very often. Like Coach says, it works for me, but may not work for everyone. Chris G, you're right, and I'm probably using the wrong word, cobbled, but I do find the pavements a little challenging. But as I said, I think I'm just looking for an excuse. Yeah, get down by the river, Chris. Lovely down by the river. Well, if I eat a big breakfast, I'll need a nap.
Just go walking until you find somewhere nice and flat without the cobbles.
Yeah, there you go. And then you can
walk on cobbles. They're not that bad. Just okay. They're not good to run on.
Fantastic. All right. So we're drawing to a close now, folks. So get your questions in and lots of lovely comments here. Thanks. Now that I've said that, time to take action towards self-acceptance in that regard. Well, that's a beautiful moment. Thank you, Suze, for saying that. Other than that, I think I quite accept myself. Societal pressures got to me, I guess. I feel a little
change. Be proud, Suze.
Yes, I believe you can eat anything in moderation. I believe that. And even though Owen has a go at me for eating the occasional Big Mac, I eat when I feel like it, but I do get the hangries if that doesn't happen. Well, that is a blood sugar thing, isn't it? The hangriness, for sure.
It is.
Conscious eating and eating slowly. That helps too, doesn't it? We tend to eat less and more healthily if we go at it consciously. And that is one of the pitfalls, of course, of fasting, is by the time you're ready, you are really ready, aren't you? So bear that in mind.
I tend to eat less at lunchtime these days. It's normally, just a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
Have a proper meal at the end of the day. But just coming back to whole foods, we were talking about whole foods earlier. They take longer to digest, so you feel fuller for longer.
Yes. Yeah.
The sugars, because they are sugars in things like rice and wholemeal pasta and those, I guess even potatoes.
Indeed.
Do take longer to go through the system, so you don't get hangry so quickly.
It's true. And one of the best things I heard about carbohydrates was, what's the difference between a bowl of sugar and a bowl of pasta? About half an hour. So yeah, it is sugar, and the browner it is, and the less refined it is, probably the easier it's going to be for you to make good use, make your body to make best use of it. From Rebel Mama to Chris, there might be an Ecovia, aka a nature trail walk near you. We had one near the river by us, and we will play another video. And it's a real mark of how much humor there is also in the program. It's definitely not about going without things. It's living the good life, taking care of yourself, extending your life, hopefully, and having a laugh. And no greater laugh comes from the program than being able to say fartlek, which is the original word, I think, for the interval training malarkey, isn't it, Ian? Okay, so we'll play that in a little while. Feasts are for feast days, not every day, as the name would suggest. That's a good call. Can you remember that? I mean, part of this time we're harking back to is when the Christmas dinner used to be something special. Problem is, we eat like that every day now, don't we?
I can't eat a Christmas dinner anymore.
It's just too much.
It's too much.
Interesting. My students constantly seem to be grazing every half an hour or so. It's unbelievable. Yeah, mate, it's very interesting. I'm hungry right now. Quick, somebody get her a Snickers. To Chris, I walk on the cobbles until I get to conventional road or sidewalk or trail. Says Gene, this is good stuff. As the coach is suggesting, even walking, you have to be aware. Lots of trip hazards here. Why am I choosing to eat right now? Mindfulness in action there. Thanks, Rebel Mama. We're only here for a month exploring the country, but I'll look out for one when we arrive in the Algarve next week. Excellent, Chris. Love face still here. There is sugar in over 80% of manufactured food. Them cobbles is marbles, says Ubi. Be careful on the cobbles. The great leveler, literally sometimes. I need a lot of things, Andy. She's hungry there. I hope somebody gets to you soon.
She's on a bus, isn't she?
Yeah. Oh no! Only 6 more hours to go to Spain. I hadn't been actually hungry for years. I hadn't been actually hungry, I see, says Michelle, for years and didn't even realize until I fasted. It felt good to be hungry. That's an interesting perspective. Good morning to you, Michelle, in Australia. That's amazing. Just got inspired by listening to the program. Now ready to take the dog for a walk to Kinnoul Hill, overlooking the city of Perth. There in Scotland, not in Australia. Nice one, Abel. Glad to hear it.
I don't think there's many hills near Perth in Australia.
Carl, you should. Oh, stop it. Is that? Do you want me to like walk on the spot as well? Problem is, I'm not going to wear a tracksuit while broadcasting. A certain presenter ruined that for everybody a couple of decades back. Squats and lunges added to the multitasking for Carl. Yeah. Brilliant. Can't wait for that. No, I'm going to do it in its right. You don't want to see a sweaty me here. Standing, or that's extra if you do. Standing desks, if you can get used to them. Look at this. All these little tips coming through now. Vic, little savoury snacks. Rissoish Camarão is a prawn breadcrumb pastry. You don't really, okay in the winter, but I don't think you want to take a prawn rissole on a hot bus to Spain with you. That can make you quite unpopular with the people sat near you. They do pork. It's not getting any better. Pork, cod and veal too. Ubi ice hockey is a good workout, but leave the stick on the bench. Sitting on exercise balls instead of chairs works the core and burns more calories while sitting. Would you approve, Coach?
Yeah. It certainly helps keep your muscles in, loose and in good shape. Not sure it burns calories.
Okay, yes. All right. Jury's out on that. And we must do a little video called Exercise Balls, because I think that will attract a whole new audience. Prolonged sitting is not good for your circulation. All right, I'm going to get up in a minute, Gene. Sitting on, we've had the exercise ball. We just did that. Off-road cycling too, much nicer in the wild. Absolutely right. I stopped cycling in New Jersey. Too many distracted drivers on their phones. Yeah, that's a scary thought, isn't it? I was told it's good to walk on uneven surfaces to strengthen your feet and legs. Yes, but got to be done mindfully. Yeah, okay, but just be careful.
I mean, just on that point. Certainly in the off season, so wintertime, athletes do a reasonable amount on the grass, because each step you're adjusting slightly rather than flat on the track. Okay. So it does help build your balance and your ankles, your calves, and your foot. Yeah. So absolutely. And walking is the same, it's just less extreme.
And you just have to be mindful and aware, and there's no harm in that. That's good for you too. My eating window starts at noon, midday. I didn't realize that midday wasn't a thing for Americans until a couple of days ago. So noon, midday, 12 o'clock until 8 o'clock, 2000. But then there is Man Cave at 11, 2300, at which I have wine, which I shouldn't. Oh, God, it's once a week,
no.
Matthew.
Wine's absolutely part of the mix.
That's right. It's in the Bible. Antonio F. Yes, indeed. At Eddie the Seven Park here in Lisbon, they have one at the Coca-Cola Christmas Glutton Fest, not operating yet though. Not sure what that's about, but an interesting reference to Coca-Cola there, which is not a contribution to health.
No.
An occasional treat maybe, and the sponsor of Christmas around the world. It will help you train all those adjusting muscles in your feet that we do not use anymore, as everything is flat tarmac. So yes, Andy.
Totally.
Matty backing up the coach there. Okay, thanks. Okay. Oh, yay! Mwah, mwah, mwah. Suze has changed her picture from taxi to one of herself. Beautiful, Suze. Thank you very much for doing that.
Well done, Suze.
Awesome. Well done. Child
Loud and proud.
I might have my doc appointment in a bit. I hope I didn't miss it. No, let us know how that went on. She did it all in Portuguese. My Portuguese housemates simply cannot believe how little I eat in portions. They are struggling to accept only eating a meal twice a day versus the 3 traditional meals. These things can be cultural, can't they? Are we going to see the light up video? We are. Hope this time. We've talked so much. We've had so much to say about this. Thanks for coming back. You're here on the 3rd Friday of every month, so don't worry, folks. Coach Turner will be back. If you want to get involved with us, just drop me a line, carl@expatsportugal.com, and you can enjoy those 30 videos as well. Coach, did we miss anything? Did you want to add anything before we go? Because we've got a couple of videos to play. We're going to do Fartlek, just to give everyone a giggle, and we are going to have a light up Christmas video. We'll do another one tomorrow. So what's left to be said, Coach?
Well, just enjoy it and have a fantastic Christmas.
Okay, marvelous. Because yes, it's the last one before Christmas, isn't it?
Last one before Christmas, and we'll have one in Jan, and then February I'm going to be in the Algarve. Hopefully, fingers crossed. All bets are off at the moment, but that's the plan.
But this is great timing, isn't it? I mean, people can get involved with the Growing Old Disgracefully with the Greywatch for the new year. This is a time of year where traditionally too much gets consumed and eaten at Christmas time. The belly becomes apparent. The new year is used as a jumping off point. People do something extreme, which they don't keep up with. So maybe think about growing old disgracefully with us for 2022, folks. Drop me a line, carl@expatsportugal.com, and let's all do that together in the new year. A little bit of more wisdom here. All the dog poop is a great reason to be mindful of where your feet are going. Yes, that's real ninja stuff sometimes on the pavements of Portugal. It has to be said. I've got a great rice cooker that flushes 25% of the carbs and sugars out. Every little bit helps. That's good, Brian. Give us a link for that. Coach Turner. Oh, and look, Suze. Another beautiful smiling Gumper face, says the man with the banana slug as his profile pic. But that yay, God Squad. There she is. Let's leave your beauty on the screen for a moment there, Suze, as we go into the videos and as we thank Coach Turner for being here on his 3rd Friday of the month residency. Have a great weekend. Bon fin de semana, Ian. Great to have you here.
Yeah, and you, mate. Talk to you soon.
All right. Have a great Christmas. Boas festas, Feliz Natal.
Ciao, ciao.
There he goes. I think he's going to go out for a walk to walk off that bag of crisps that he had last night. Okay, Suze, thank you so much for doing that. Big love to you as we became the Wuhan of the love virus this morning. It all emanates out from here. Let's see what we can do about that in 2022 as well. Keep it going, everybody. Light up Christmas. It's all part of it. I have to go to the grocery shopping after this, another workout, then carrying all that beer home. Thanks, Coach, from Victoria. This is wonderful. And from Matty, James Holly, having 2 dogs and walking everywhere, that mindfulness is built in for me. Almost never Wow. Tell us your secret, Matty. And I remember your somewhat controversial comments about dog poo, which we won't go into right now, literally. Gumper face. I rather like that. Gumper face. Didn't the Arctic Monkeys do a song about that? You and me too, Andrew. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to play the Fartlek video, just to give you another taste of what goes on at the camp. At the Graywatch camp, Growing Old Disgracefully, and then we'll go straight into a light up Christmas video. Sorry, I meant to play 2 this morning. You're going to hear the Christmas song. You're going to see your photos. We'll do another one tomorrow after this Fartlek video.
So I'm going to talk a little about speed. Now, that's not ultimate speed. It's basically adding higher tempo work to what you do in your normal training. we're talking about walking really, and walking quickly. So this all stems, or is rooted in a technique for athletes called fartlek, which is Swedish for speed play and was developed in the 1930s because the Swedes were being beaten by the Finnish distance athletes, and they didn't like that. So they developed this way of running slowly, jogging, reasonable pace, and then having intervals where you run much more quickly. And that's the basis of all athletics training, really, for certainly distance athletes. Sprinters, slightly different, but not that much. It's slow walking and then going quickly, and that's their interval training. So we can use that, and what's become clear in research over the last few years is that high intensity interval training, that sounds scary, but it isn't really, can benefit your metabolism substantially as you get older. It can burn fat more effectively because you change your metabolism for a period of time after the training finishes. So what we're going to look at is putting that into your walk. So rather than just walking at a steady pace, every so often you put in a few steps of much quicker walking and gradually extend that as you become a bit fitter. So that's the background. In the next video, we're going to look at how that can be added practically to what you do and how to add it carefully.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and a member show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Comes in riding on a big surfboard. The elves are happy to be gone from the cold, snowy north. A reindeer riding waves in their finest beach gear. We're all enjoying Christmas cheer. Oh, the family all together tasting all the treats. But the favorite is always some of my grandma's sweets. The lights are twinkling everywhere that we go, and we're all out dancing in the street.